That was Ligt back in 2019. Just 19 years old at the time, highly regarded as the next big thing at centre-back. The next big star, the next big talent. Fast forward 5 years to 2024 and he is now being linked with a move to Manchester United. That career trajectory suggests it has gone perfectly for him in his career. But that isn't really the case. Despite being so good and so promising at a young age for Ajax, things haven't quite clicked for Ligt since. First of all, moving to Juventus, where I felt that he had some really strong spells, but things didn't quite work under Allegri. Regardless, he eventually got his move to Bayern Munich 2 years ago, and in his first season, again, I thought he was really strong, had a good first year. But in the second campaign, he just kind of faded out of the team, fell out of favour, and fell out of the starting 11. Leaving us now with the question, should he sign for Manchester United? What would he actually bring to the team? So let's take a look at what Ligt will bring to Manchester United from a defensive point of view. So Ligt is what I would describe as a stopper centre-back, someone who wants to be aggressive and defend on the front foot, not really giving the opposition the chance to turn and look to carry the ball forward. So Ligt isn't someone who wants to spend all day defending the channels, he wants to move towards the ball and be aggressive. Of course, something which is expected of the modern day centre-back, with a lot of teams looking to utilise a high press, and I think it'll be the same next season under Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. I think there is an expectancy for the defenders to defend on the front foot, and Ligt can absolutely do that. Incredibly strong, aggressive, big and powerful, standing at over 6'3" tall. He's a strong, aggressive defender who likes to be really touch tight. So in positions like this, he's going to engage the opponent nice and high, not give him the chance to turn, and be there with the strong tackle. In these situations, Ligt's tackling technique is normally absolutely brilliant, and he does win a lot of these duels, being tight, aggressive, winning the ball back for his side. However, at times he can be a little bit too aggressive. He can go a little bit too heavy into the tackle, and against some of the smaller, if you like, the trickier, the more agile strikers or inside forwards or number 10s in these positions, he can be caught out a little bit. He can be caught going too aggressive, and that is going to see him kind of getting spun on the halfway line. Now, from this position, Ligt kind of has two options: foul the guy and risk picking up bookings and things like that, or let him run away from you. Now, the good thing for Ligt in these situations is that he does have a decent amount of recovery pace. So if he does get too tight and he does get turned, he's not like Harry Maguire, for example, who once turned is out of the equation. Ligt does have the recovery pace. He does move his feet fairly quickly, so he can kind of readjust and start to track back. But that would definitely be a concern. You know, that over-aggressive approach at times can hurt you. But in general, he tends to get it right, and that would be a positive for United. I think United need that at centre-back, players who want to step forward. Now, another reason that Ligt is able to defend on the front foot is because of his pretty decent aerial ability. As I've said already, he is over 6'3" tall, giving him the perfect tool to go be strong in the aerial duels, and largely he is. Certainly in comparison to someone like Lisandro Martinez, who is quite poor in the air, Ligt is a strong aerial defender without being elite. Again, let's make that clear. He's a good aerial defender. He's not up there with the Virgil van Dijks of the world, but not many people are. He's a strong aerial defender, and importantly, he wants to compete in those duels. He does get involved in a lot of aerial situations. Of course, when you're involved in a lot of headers, you're going to win a lot, but you're also going to lose a lot as well. So that doesn't matter too much. The percentages in terms of the aerial duel is what we're looking at a little bit more. And again, Ligt is decent in this area without being great, but it would be an improvement for Manchester United over someone like Victor Lindelof, for example, or even Willy Kampala in the side. So again, I think Ligt would be an upgrade in this area. Going forward, front foot defending, I think he would be an upgrade for United. The question is when he starts to get spun and he's got to defend the other way, and also particularly out wide, because that is something which Manchester United need at centre-back. Centre-backs who can move into these positions to defend. Now, the reason why United are so desperate for this is because of the way that Erik ten Hag uses his fullbacks. Ten Hag's fullbacks tend to be given quite rotational roles in the side. So someone like Dalot at right back will often fly forward on the overlap. He will underlap into the final third as well, but also at times invert into midfield. All of these sorts of rotations mean that when you eventually lose the ball, you have a large space here that you have to defend. So it's crucial that Ligt is able to deal with these situations. So that brings us to the next question. Can Ligt defend wide areas?
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. and also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
So the question was, can De Ligt defend the wide channels? Can he defend these large spaces? And initially I would say the answer is yes. Now when De Ligt is pulled into these wider positions, he approaches the game in a slightly different way to what he does in the middle. In the middle it's all about being touch tight, being aggressive, lots of body contact. Out wide it's a little bit different. De Ligt tends to take the approach of looking to delay the move. He's not going to be overly aggressive and get too tight. He's going to step off a yard or two, giving the opposition player time on the ball, but that's not too much of an issue for De Ligt. He's almost essentially waiting for his teammates to get back into position. So when he is isolated out wide, he will get over, he will deal with it, but he's not going to be strong and aggressive in the duel. He's going to try and delay and buy time for his teammates to get around him, which is a really good thing because it means he doesn't overcommit, he doesn't get drawn into the tackle too quickly. Of course, if he was to do that, he could be beaten and leave space in behind. So I would say De Ligt is a good wide defender. He covers the space well, and I also think he's quicker than what people give him credit for. By no means an absolute speed machine, it isn't a speedster of a centre-back, but he's no slouch either. This guy can move. The recovery pace is pretty decent. We've seen a couple of clips of it. I'll put them on screen now, however, or a butt in these situations. I still don't think he's a specialist wide defender by any means. I think, again, in the Premier League, against some of the best wingers in the world, he could start to face a problem or two if he was to regularly be drawn out into these positions. And it comes back to a similar idea to what we were looking at earlier. When you face players that have brilliant low centre of gravity, agility, balance, the ability to twist and turn, go either way, but also the acceleration as well, it's incredibly difficult for centre-backs to deal with these large spaces. And this is a large space that we are talking about in the Manchester United system. This is a lot of space for De Ligt to try and cover. And I think the only players which are really going to excel here are absolute wide specialists. De Ligt isn't that. He's capable in wide areas, but he isn't a specialist. So again, there are definitely pros and cons to De Ligt playing in this position. Now, whilst I may have question marks over De Ligt in the high wide areas, I do not have the same questions in the low wide areas. I actually think De Ligt is really strong in these positions. What am I talking about? This sort of channel of space in here when players are looking to take the ball, perhaps an underlapping runner into the final third or something like that, and the centre-back gets drawn out away from the penalty spot, more towards the side of the pitch here. De Ligt is really strong in these positions. And what I like here is he's really strong on the right-hand side, but also on the left-hand side as well. Because whilst he is a big, towering, strong presence, he is also good at adjusting his feet. He is good at reading the game. And particularly in the penalty area, I always feel that he's really kind of excelling in knowing when to go strong into the tackle, and again when to delay the opposition and let them have a bit of time. But in terms of if a player is going to go 1v1 in these positions, I always feel that De Ligt is really strong. If a player goes towards the byline, he has the ability to use his size and his power and his presence to sort of lean on the opposition and kind of let the ball trickle out for a goal kick, or even let his keeper come and claim the ball as well. And then if the opposition look to come inside, De Ligt adjusts his feet pretty well. This is again where someone like Harry Maguire perhaps struggles. De Ligt is really good at quickly adjusting his feet, so should this player throw in a bit of skill and move inside the pitch like so, De Ligt can recover and then get in for the blocks. And this is where he is excelling in my opinion. The box defence. And of course United are losing a lot of that with Raphael Varane. De Ligt can go some way to replacing it. In the box, I think he is absolutely brilliant. His reading of the game, again knowing when to be aggressive, when to step off, I think is brilliant. But also his ability to just sense danger. Some players have it, some don't. I couldn't tell you why, but De Ligt has it. He has that ability to sense danger. So that can be throwing himself in front of blocks. It can be last minute interceptions as the ball is pulled back. He'll sniff out the danger, intercept the ball and then play out from the back. De Ligt is really good in his penalty area. I think he's an absolute top-class defender in this position. Also, with his leadership as well. Again, something I think United need in the back line. I think they need that presence who is going to demand things of his teammates. He's going to pull teammates into position. De Ligt is absolutely brilliant at that. He captained the Ajax side at an incredibly young age, and he's also captained the Netherlands as well. He's a brilliant leader. He's incredibly vocal, and he leads by example. He is great in these positions. If we are to go to one weakness quickly in the box, it would be the back post defending. Now, again, largely he is good in these positions, I would say. Largely. There are situations where a ball can come swinging in towards the back post, and I think more than anything, it's a concentration issue. There will be situations or matches, if you like, where for 90 minutes he's been absolutely brilliant. He's read everything into the box and he's cleared it. But he does have this occasional lapse of concentration at the far post where he's just going to let someone slip in behind him or just nip in front of him and he doesn't quite switch on to it. And that would perhaps be a concern with this centre-back pairing in general. the fact that you could argue both centre-backs are reasonably weak at defending the back post would definitely be a concern for Manchester United. So again, that is something to consider. And it is something which we have to take into consideration. If you're Manchester United, you're looking to sign this player, you have to think, not just is he a good player, because of course he is a good player. De Ligt is a phenomenal footballer. I think he still has the potential to fulfill that potential we all saw at a young age. There was a reason everyone was so hyped about him. He's an incredible footballer, and he's got a really good skill set. I think he's good on the ball. I think he's strong on the ball without being excellent. You know, he's decent on the ball. He's good in possession. Out of possession, he has a lot of strong traits. He is a leader. He can defend his box. He can defend on the front foot, and he's not bad out in the channels. My only concern would be actually, not is he good enough? He's absolutely good enough to play for a top club. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. The question is he the profile that United need right now? And that's where I'm getting a little bit stuck. Because if I look at what Manchester United were doing last season with the tactical approach to the game, with De Ligt, it feels like we're bringing in a similar profile of centre-back to what we've already got, rather than bringing in a new profile of centre-back. And that's where I have my concerns. You know, De Ligt... Okay, let me make sure I get this across right. De Ligt profiles fairly similarly to Harry Maguire. Now, please do not think I'm saying they're the same player. They are absolutely not. You know, De Ligt is much quicker. He turns a lot quicker. But actual profile of centre-back being that front foot stopper who's good at his box defence as well, but doesn't really quite want to be pulled out wide. It's a similar profile. And when you're building a squad, you're looking to upgrade a squad. Does he improve Manchester United? Yes, he's a better version of Harry Maguire. Again, having a slightly different skill set. But I don't know if he closes the gap towards the other teams, because it's a similar profile rather than a new profile. I personally think we need a new profile. So that's where I am on De Ligt. And hopefully, you know, you guys have now got a bit more of an understanding of what he does defensively. Again, a great player, no doubt about that. An absolutely brilliant player out of possession. Is he quite what United need? I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think De Ligt is the right type of player that we need defensively? Or do you think we need more of a power athlete, perhaps someone who's going to cover the wide channels a little bit better, wants to regularly go out to the wide right position? Or do you think that is the profile we need? Someone who's going to be strong in the centre of the pitch, in the core of the pitch. If that's what you think we need, then De Ligt could be the perfect player. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'm a little bit on the fence. I'm leading towards uncertainty, to be honest, a little bit of a no from me. But I wouldn't complain if we signed him either. He's a very good player. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments. Apart from that, we are finished for today, though. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.